Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your bonus reading for the November 8th Taurus eclipse. This is a total lunar eclipse, and I kind of, like I've said on the last eclipse reading, I feel like this eclipse season will be lasting until the next eclipse season, which will be in April of 2023. So it doesn't matter if you're watching this reading after the eclipse, there's probably something in it for you, and we're just going to see what that is. You start with the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is about walking away from things that no longer serve you. Kind of funny because I think you're one of the only signs that has something about walking away, which again, actually, makes perfect sense during an eclipse. But no one else has really had anything necessarily about walking away, not like the Eight of Cups. The thing is that you end with the Eight of Wands. This tells me that if you are walking away from something, definitely the right decision. I'm telling you right now, if you're asking me, should I walk away from X, Y, and Z? Yes, because Eight of Wands, this really tells me that something has been like glue. It's almost like, intuitively, this is going to sound weird, but I feel like you've been in like a glue trap where it's like you kind of walked across something, maybe got into a relationship. It could be a business, whatever. Take how it resonates, a job. It could be a health routine as well. But it's like something has made you slow or makes you feel slow. And again, I don't think that's, again, I'm not calling you slow here. And I don't think that's 100% accurate. But, maybe if you think about it, maybe something has created like a little bit more friction in your life. So, and whatever that is, I feel like you're walking away from it. Pretty simple reading, Leo. Your crossing energy is your beliefs. So you have the Hierophant here. For some of you, it's like maybe this is a marriage and maybe your beliefs don't allow you to get a divorce. But at the same time, maybe you also realize that this is holding you back. I don't even think this has to do with love, if I'm being honest. I think, like some of you, maybe you have a false sense of responsibility, which I think a lot of Leos do. And again, I think that's what makes you special. I don't think that's, that's not a criticism. Again, I have a lot of Leos in my life personally, and I wouldn't want it to be any other way. So, I think that's a great quality that Leo can have. But what I would say is, like, why do you feel responsible to something that, like, isn't responsible to you? I think you have the keys to walk away from something here with that Hierophant energy. And what I would say is, again, are your beliefs holding back? This is very Neptune and Pisces, Neptune and Pisces, we have till 2025, end of 2025, and it's a direct challenge to traditional belief. Like, you always believe something because of whatever. Maybe you have a false sense of responsibility to your career or to your business, but now something is like trying to pull you away. It's almost like you were trying to be on a slip and slide, but you ended up on sandpaper. That's a graphic visual, right? And I feel you're trying to find a slip and slide in life. I feel like a lot of people are trying to find more slip and slides, easier. It's not even about making your life easier. It's just simply about removing resistance and restriction. It seems to be a major focus, and then it's an even bigger focus for you. In the area of your thoughts, you have the Two of Cups. Some of you could be thinking about connections in general. Doesn't even have to be love. But I do think some of you are thinking about love. Could be with a water sign. Could be with an earth sign as well. I don't know. Why am I hesitating on the earth sign? I don't know. Maybe the water sign's better. Is there another way to say that? Probably not. But, take it how it resonates. And I think your thoughts are on that. There needs to be communication is what I'm getting here. So some of you could be thinking about communicating with a person. But I think maybe past heartbreaks are kind of getting in the way. So if you're thinking about communicating with a person, I would let go of past heartbreaks. Also, I'm getting something about leveling up here. Two cups is like you and your higher self. So I think your higher self is also kind of pulling you along. And I get a pulling feeling as well. It's like someone's trying to get you out of the glue that maybe you've been in for a while. In the area of your foundation, you have the Five of Cups. You definitely don't enjoy something anymore. He's crying over this spilt wine because he's lost his taste for wine. But there's something new behind him. And in these Two Cups, he has the Two Cups that lead to this bridge in the castle. So, I always say that you don't just get the Two Cups when you turn around. You get the bridge and the castle on the Five of Cups as well. The trick with the Five of Cups is to be grateful for what you do have. When he's grateful, he sees the Two Cups, which leads to the bridge and the castle. So gratitude is the trick with the Five of Cups. Although, again, some of you could be dealing with some disappointments. These disappointments could be due to either an earth sign in your life, could be a Taurus. The disappointment could be coming up during this eclipse because Taurus. It could also be disappointments in money. Like maybe you're just disappointed in the things that you've been doing for a long time and something needs to change. It's like that something needs to change as well. There's like a certain amount of pressure that I feel you're putting on yourself here with this King of Pentacles. I'm wondering It's like maybe money is fine, right? And I think this happens to all of us. Maybe money is fine, but maybe we're worried about a recession, or maybe we're worried about whatever the news is telling us to be worried about, right? And part of me does feel like getting out of your head and focusing would be a good idea. I always tell people don't watch the news, and people are like, how dare you not know what's going on in the world? I'm like, if something bad enough is happening, someone will tell me. I don't need to know about, whatever's going on in the world, or, whatever. I don't care, is what I'll say. So there you go. In the near future, you have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is talking about like what you feel like doing, is what I would say. So she is very focused on that cup that's in front of her, and it kind of represents her heart. She really values her emotions, and she really values how she feels about things. So I think if you can watch your emotions, and again, make sure you're not getting overly emotional because of the news or other things. That's why I'm saying this, because you have the Eight of Wands as well. Believe it or not, we're always attracting our reality, and that Eight of Wands, like your rockets of desire, as Esther Hicks says. Traditionally, it was your arrows of love, meaning that you have a desire, you send it out to a person, and they return it. So, it's kind of like manifestation. And a lot of these readings have been about a manifestation for this eclipse. But I feel like as long as you're focusing on your heart, the things that you want, the better. There is like a need to heal your heart, I think, in this reading, but we'll get there. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the Hermit. Again, I think that Hermit mode is perfectly acceptable for the next few months because, we have a lot of retrogrades, we have the eclipses, we have a lot going on. We have Mercury going retrograde at the end of the year. I mean, we're getting hammered by retrogrades. It's like nonstop. And what I would say here is I think it's perfectly acceptable for you to like take a break, rest, relax, recover, as long as you're making progress. Look, he won't even focus. So what's going on here? There we go. So I feel like you need to focus on something. You could need to focus on education. He's like going through some sort of rite of passage. This is a card of a rite of passage. So you've been thinking about getting like a certification, a training, especially for work or business. Now would be a good time to do that. Maybe you just want to learn about yourself. Now would be a good time to do that, Leo. I feel you could be spending a lot of time kind of learning about yourself as well. And that's really all that I'm getting there. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Two of Wands. I feel a lot of you could be taking the lead in a relationship. So, this is a card of leadership. It's also like a card of getting out into the world. He has the whole world in his hands, but he's standing at the top of a castle. He's basically standing where he has always been. So again, if you want a new type of relationship, number one, you have to get out into the world. Number two, I would do things differently. Again, if you've been experiencing the same old story with the people you attract, it could say that you're either approaching relationships in exactly the same way every single time, or maybe you have a certain type, like a type that has trauma, but maybe you always pick that type because you know what you're going to get. I think we all do this. Not a criticism. I think we all pick the same type of person because we know exactly how it's going to end. So it might sound crazy, but sometimes I think, it's like I hear stories all the time from people that are like, I always break up after 7 months, exactly. Or I remember I used to have a friend who wouldn't invite her boyfriends over on Thanksgiving because every boyfriend she had would break up with her on Thanksgiving. And, it's like, I think it's because, and she's finally married, by the way, because she picked a different type of person, I'm convinced, right? And that's probably why she's married. She didn't pick the same type of person. And so I think there could be like just new types of people that you could be exploring with the Two Wands if you want love. Even if you don't want love, I feel like some of you could be traveling for family. And I think that would be great for you at this time, Leo. I mean, we are entering into the holiday season, so it makes perfect sense that you would be traveling. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Three of Swords. I'm going to clarify this in just a second, but I do feel, for the most part, I feel like you need to heal your heart. This could be from a past situation. It could be a little bit deeper than that because you have the Hermit here, which says maybe there's some inner wounds that you need to heal or release. And I almost feel like you're being prepared for that Eight of Wands. So again, not a criticism, not a bad thing either. I kind of feel some of your inner wounds are maybe you're kind of having to look at them in some way through this eclipse so that you can have the Eight of Wands, which is, again, that slip and slide energy. I'm not saying your life is going to be perfect, but I am saying there's like a much better flow with the Eight of Wands than I feel with that Hierophant and that Eight of Cups. Gross. I don't even want to look at that. So that's how I feel about that combination in your reading in particular. With the Three of Swords, I wanted to clarify it right away. Yeah, you have the Moon. So even the Moon can be a card of like introspection. It's a card of entering the darkness. You even have these mountains back here. The Hermit is standing at the top of a mountain. The Moon says go on the journey. I always tell people, it's like nowhere on the Moon does it say stop. It is a card of fears. It is a card of illusions. It is a card of fantasies. It is a card of secrets and mysteries. But it basically says keep going. It's part of the Fool's journey. get to the end of those mountains. The moon comes up, the moon goes down. It is a temporary period of time, but it's also something to be explored. So, again, even if things are being pointed out to you, like certain traumas from I feel it's all past stuff that's being pointed out here as well. I feel like now is a great time for forgiveness with the Three of Swords. Three of Swords isn't about forgiving a person or people who did you wrong. It's about kind of more removing those swords from your own heart. So you're just forgiving them in your own heart. You don't have to literally forgive them, right? And, I think doing that will help you get through whatever it is, but also get to this Eight of Wands. Your outcome is the Eight of Wands. I love this. I feel like things are going to start picking up speed, momentum. It's like you're building up speed in your life and things are just getting a lot smoother. I get this energy of, that's really the best way to describe your reading. Here, Leo, it's smooth. Like, I feel like there's a certain smooth energy going on here. With that Three of Swords, I would definitely watch your health as well. I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice, but, Three of Swords, health, and Mars retrograde during this time as well. I would just stay healthy. With the Eight of Cups and the Hierophant, you have the Submission card. This is a very interesting card because it reminds me of the Eight of Swords. There's a bird in that cage here, and the door is open. So it's almost like you could easily set yourself free from something that you need to set yourself free from. I'm wondering if this is a game that you're playing is really the words that are popping into my head, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like, especially for those of you in relationships, if you're feeling like you're always having to kind of think about your next move, then maybe it's not the right relationship for you. I'm not telling you that it is or it isn't, but it's like, I think if we're in relationships where we're always like, okay, what can I do to make this person stay with me? Probably not a good relationship, right? If you're having to do that, or if you're thinking that could be a clue. I also feel like some of you could be getting clues about a situation that you need to set yourself free from. Again, it's like sometimes I think in relationships, we stay in a relationship, but we start thinking like, oh, should I break up with this person? What should I do? To me, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. So if you're having those thoughts, then maybe it's time to leave. But this could also be something else. I see some of you kind of like, again, leaving jobs for something much better. And it's not like you're just going to leave and have nothing. What I would say is you're going to find another job, then leave. Same thing in business. You're probably going to get something else started and have something else. With that Two of Cups, here you go. You have this flirtation card. Definitely love could be coming in for those of you that want it, because this card says flirtation on it. Even if you do want love, but pretty much for all of you, Two of Cups can be you and your higher self. I feel like you're being guided towards something, and it's almost like you're flirting with an idea. You're flirting with the idea of starting something new, or doing your business in a different way, or doing love differently. So maybe I would just keep doing that. I would keep kind of like playing with the energy. With the Five of Cups in your foundation, you have the empathy card. I feel this is more saying you have to be kind to yourself. I think the empathy is empathy that you're having for yourself. So I feel like you need to be kind to yourself. I also feel like you could be getting like kind messages as well. Birds are messengers, and you have this bird going to this ear here. So I feel like you could be getting kind messages from people. Funny enough, that card is the moon in Pisces, and you have the moon here, which is Pisces. With the King of Pentacles, you have this discrimination card. Again, this is about being discriminating, not like racism or something like that. It's about being able to look at a situation and say, okay, like this is right for me, this isn't right for me. And maybe that's what you've learned. You've learned how to look at situations in your life, and you've learned to be able to say like, okay, this person isn't investing any time, so they're not right. It's like you're speeding the process up as well. It's like maybe normally it would take you a long time to figure out that a person isn't right for you, but I think you're doing it much, much faster. With the Queen of Cups, you have this versatility card. Every single person has had this card. I mean, it's funny because I made a joke in another video. I said, if you were to look up this eclipse that we're having, like on any one of the astrology websites, they're all going to say the same thing, that we have to be adaptable during this eclipse. It's all about adaptability, learning to embrace change, learning to just go with it. And versatility is basically the same thing. Again, everyone has had this card, I kid you not. And it's just a card of being versatile, realizing that you are like a Swiss Army knife. You don't only have one answer to any problem in your life. There isn't only one answer to anything in life. That's what we need to realize. There are many answers to all problems, even good things as well. It's like things could be going well, but there might be an answer that could make it go better, right? So I would just be versatile. With the Hermit, you have this discovery card. I think you're discovering a lot over the next few months. We talked about this actually with the Hermit. I would encourage you to go on some sort of adventure. This could be more of a mental adventure though. Again, I get this feeling of kind of like getting a certification, taking an online training, or, could even be at like a college or something like that to get a certification. If you're doing that, really good for you. I feel even if you're just getting a certification for like a career or job, a lot of success here with this energy. I feel it'll totally be worth it. With the Two of Wands, you have the Generosity card. Everybody's had either this card or the Charity card. I feel it's a great time to be generous for whatever reason. The universe wants that. So I would be doing anything you possibly can to like give to other people. It doesn't have to be money either. It could just be time, effort, and it doesn't have to be much as well. I think most people think like, oh, I have to give so much to be generous. I'm like, no, if everybody just gave just like a tiny little bit, if we could just get every single person in the world to give a tiny little bit, it would add up to a whole lot, right? So I think just kind of thinking more in that mindset of generosity would be a good idea. With the Three of Swords, but just because you're going to attract more of it. With the Three of Swords and the Moon, how crazy is this? I was talking about a game, and I was seeing a chessboard in my head. Look, there's a chessboard right here. So I feel for some of you, it's like there's some sort of game that you feel like you're playing, and I kind of feel a lot of you could be escaping some sort of game that you're playing. There could be a decision to make, and I feel like you're going to choose the Moon. It's like sometimes we choose the Moon, where it's like maybe we're with a person that isn't right, and we kind of want to break up with them. We kind of don't want to break up with them because we're afraid of the darkness. We're afraid of the Moon. I feel like you're choosing the Moon. Really, what you're doing, by the way, is you're choosing yourself. When we know that something isn't right and we decide to walk into darkness and we don't know what's on the other side, we are choosing us. What happens when we do that? We attract the best in life. We attract a better person. You could be walking away from a business and starting something new, not knowing if it's going to be as successful as your last one. Really, you're following your heart, and maybe you have to discover some new things because of the Moon. Things aren't going to be all sunshine and rainbows, as I said, and at the same time, if you do it, you're going to end up more successful than ever, and wherever you're doing this, doesn't matter. But I feel like you're choosing the darkness, and that not in a scary way, kind of like in a good way. With the Eight of Wands, you have the drama card. You, Leo, right here. I would avoid drama at all costs. Mars retrograde. I also kind of feel that this is good, though. I kind of feel like a lot of you could be just focusing on yourself. You know, again, it's just you. Can we get a clarification here? Yeah, you have this romance card. I would avoid drama at all costs in romance, but I feel like there's definitely new love coming in for you. This card always reminds me of the Two of Cups. Look, those two people, blue and yellow. Two of Cups, blue and yellow on the Two of Cups. So I definitely feel you could be getting communication from a person. This could be causing drama. I would be careful of past people as well, especially during an eclipse. Like if you meet someone new and a past person finds out about it, you know, they could be upset. But, I mean, too bad for them, right? Leo, I feel like you're choosing yourself here. A pretty powerful reading, Leo. We're going to pull 3 yes or no question cards now. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3 right here. We're actually just going to do 1 question. So if you have a question, feel free to pause this reading, and I'm going to answer it with these 3 cards. If you don't have a question, that's fine too. I'm going to put all 3 together, and I'm going to read it as like a personalish reading. So pause now, because I'm going to read them. You have the Page of Pentacles, the Chariot, and the Four of Pentacles. I feel like you want more victories in your life, want more wins. I almost feel like a taste for blood or something. That's like what's popping into my head here, Leo, as crazy as that sounds. I feel like you are, it's almost like you have that you know, hunger for victory, or, you know, it's like once you've tasted something, that's it. You only want that. And I don't mean this in like an overly dramatic way, but I almost feel like some of you could be having like a small win, and because of it, you just want more, and you're going to be creating more wins in your life. I don't really see anything wrong with that. I see victory here. If you're asking about a person, I would say yes. I would move towards this person. I think we said this at the beginning of your reading, but there's definitely someone new coming in for you if you want. It could be from a distance as well. This person, they feel a little protective to me, you know, with that Four of Pentacles. I don't get bad vibes from that Four of Pentacles, but I just get someone who is insulated. That's like the word that is popping into my head. There could be a reason for this, though. You know, it's like, it kind of gives me the vibes of like someone famous. I'm not saying you're meeting someone famous. Don't get too excited, but, you know, what I am saying is it kind of gives me those vibes. Let's see. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. They might not be famous, but they might be extremely successful. You know, they could have money or something like that. So maybe they're kind of like a little protective of themselves at first if you're meeting a person like this. You know, but I don't see it as a bad thing. They could also just be a person who thought they were going to be single, so now they meet you and they're like, oh crap, what do I do? You know, Leo looks too good, right? So don't be afraid to, you know, talk to this person, take your time. For others, I'm getting a lot here. I feel like some of you could be traveling as well, but Leo, pretty crazy. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.